Real test to their skill here in the quarterfinals up against Team EnVyUs, and alongside this we have Polos versus Godsent going on the other stream as well. Harry is joining me as per usual, and Harry, what are your expectations for this match?
I don't know, it's an interesting one, right? I feel like if it goes to 3 maps, which it very well could, then I think SpaceS could take it. But you know, me and you spoke about this a little bit, and I don't know. I think you said you feel like Team Envy could go ahead and just
see. The thing is, the thing is about this map pool is it favours Space Soldiers, but even if a map pool favours you, it doesn't mean a whole lot when the other team is infinitely better. So, as you say, if this ends up on,
heavy.
I'm not flaming. If this ends up on Cobblestone, which is the 3rd map, this is a map that not only Space Soldiers love to play, but EnVyUs have also never won out of 6 matches. So yeah, I think it's a really good chance Space Soldiers could actually take this. But that being said, it's very possible that this will just be a 2-0 whitewash. But who really knows? Let's see how they perform. I think it's a very difficult one to make a prediction, but EnVyUs definitely sitting in the more likely option here on the CT side as well. Starting off on Cash, the map pick of Space Soldiers as well. 2nd map going to be Train, and as we mentioned, 3rd will be Cobble.
And already it is going to be Scream over in mid, trying to tap on some heads. The thing that he does best, going to be spotted out by Major and actually tagged just a little bit. And now the push coming in through middle from a Space Soldiers. Paz finally to pounce on out from a Squeaky. Does claim the first life. Scream trying to turn his attention between the 2 positions. Is going to be forced on back over towards Truck, and Major going to be tapping on heads over in mid as RPK hits the deck. Zentares entering out of the site. Finally Scream able to pick that up. Will be the bomb going down. 3 on 4 has to clear out mid first, and Major's going to make things very difficult. Just waiting in the back line. They still haven't been able to deal with him, and Scream's going to go down as Major gets himself the 3rd. It's all on XMS, who, well, fall at the hands of Paz. Space Soldiers charging out towards A. The split through mid and A main proving to be too much as they pick up that 1st round.
Yeah, great start on the board there for the T side, and now Envy, as you would expect, probably going to be forcing things up with a few pistols and a bit of armour here. The Space Soldiers are very, well, actually I guess it's fairly safe buy. They've got 2 AKs, they've got 3 SMGs as well, just to throw in the mix and to gain some money from that kill reward, as well as pick up some more utility. But they throw over the AK to Zentares, and I definitely agree with that decision. I think of all people on this team who needs an AK, Zentares is definitely going to be one of them. But we have a quad A stack from EnVyUs on this side of the map. And it seems that Space Soldiers are just setting on the outside of this, waiting to potentially go for this kind of late round push. Calyx is sat over close on the box by main, while Zentares sits more further towards the back. He will be opening things up first for him. Calyx with the anti-flash, he will be peeking out, but Scream in the meantime, 2 for him, a 1 dig, and then follows up onto Calyx as 2 kills are coming for EnVyUs. Guns can be grabbed as well, as aggression's found, and Scream is pushed all the way down towards the end of main. Somehow the pistols are making it work, and Scream will do it. 4 kills. EnVyUs will pick up their 1st round.
I mean, it all looks creamy for Screamy as he goes ahead and gets himself to 4K in that round. Firing on all cylinders, secures 1 for Team EnVyUs. And it is going to be Space Soldiers now in a force buy down to try and deal the damage back to Envy. As we can see, it's going to be pistols across the board. Armor up behind them as well. Engine going to be sacrificing the armor in favor of the extra utility as they now make their way over here towards B. 6 and RPK to try and hold back the tide of Turks about to come their way. Smoke will go down to obstruct their vision for the time being and allow these players to try and sneak on by over towards Checkers. They've also got Zentares lurking over towards mid, trying to come in late perhaps in through vents to catch these players off guard on the rotates. As he just bides his time, Scream going to be watching mid. With the AK scavenged from the previous round, the push coming in over towards this B-bomb site, and 6 is alone in the site himself. Will be able to find 1. Now the peek coming out from RPK through Checkers. Paz trying to trade things out, does get 1. Scream's going to be here though to trade things back as he picks up 2, and now it's all in Zentares. The clash of the Titans, and Scream will come up trumps.
And keeping 4 alive as well, very effective stuff. Space Soldiers not able to force by win, which is how EnVyUs did in the previous round, but now we just see this T-side with absolutely no money. They're going to have to go for these pistols here. Probably no investment, I can imagine, just save for that next round. They will get 2,400 on the lost bonus. Oh, sorry, 1,900 on the lost bonus. No, I'm right, 2,400 on the lost bonus. So they get some money to fall back on. They will have those AKs coming up into the next round with utility as well. No AWP coming in, but hopefully that won't be too much of a limiting factor. EnVyUs are probably still going to be sticky on those SMGs, maybe on that bonus round, so there's a good chance for Space Soldiers to actually catch them off guard when they go for their next buy. But either way, It is just going to be a potentially clean round. Happy getting aggressive with his SMG, looking for frags. He's going to get hunted here. Eventually glocked by Engine, but XMS is there to trade. And Zentaro's not able to pick up a gun, stuck on a P250 here, as XMS just completely denies him the chance of taking that UMP. All onto Major now. He's alone, and he'll probably be dead in just a second too. Just trying to chase down this last frag if he can, but... Oh, that was close. Okay, no, he's dead. It's okay.
I don't know what just happened there. We just saw two very experienced players going head to head, and it looked more like Bot Elmo versus, I don't know, I can't remember the bots' names. But yeah, it's going to be Team EnVyUs to go ahead and pick themselves up a third round. Space Soldiers will have enough money to buy, but looks like a player has dropped out. Calix just DCing, decides that's enough. He's had it with Space Soldiers. He's going to go make his own organization. He'll be back any minute now. The buy is going to be up for Envy as well, as we can see the AWP up on Sixer, who hint to try and make some magic happen. Plenty of cash. They're going to look to try and keep this investment relatively low. Happy dropping the AWP, but going to be the only real sunk cost into this round, as everyone else just buys up utility behind their buy. Calix rejoining, so the buy going to be coming in from Space Soldiers. They've got everything they could possibly need. Zentara is a little bit limited in terms of utility, but for the most part, it's all looking peachy.
So going back into this one, Space Soldiers looking to try and get an early start on their T side. Take into account here, Envy have 2 SMGs. Now this is the best possible chance Space Soldiers have for actually getting himself around on the board. Up against 2 limited pieces of weaponry, Space Soldiers can at least catch these guys out on their bonus round. It could be great. On the flip side, if they lose out on this one, EnVyUs upgrade to AKs and then they get free upgrades. Bit of aggression from the CT side though. XMS chasing, and look at that aim. Great stuff. Xantares and Calix are both dead, and just in the blink of an eye, EnVyUs are already in a 5v3. No need to fight anymore. XMS can just fall back towards that A site. There's no need to contest this one. The Space Soldiers are already stuck in a 3-on-5. It's going to be very difficult to pull themselves out of this. It seems like EnVyUs already, just seconds into the round, may have grabbed a 4th.
Yeah, especially when you look at the players who did go down. It's Calix and Zentares, the 2 hard hitters for Space Soldiers. You can really look to Paz to try and make a difference here. But still, he's got to do some serious work to try and pull this back. He will be boosted up over in mid, but there's 2 players here to counteract him. One with an AWP in the form of Sixer. The crossfire set up between him and Scream. Major and Paz are going to try and make their way out through mid, and actually Six is rotated on off, so Scream is going to be here alone and spotted out by Paz. He sees his shoulder and Scream's got to watch out. Now the rotate comes in down through highway from XMS to try and reinforce, but Scream will hit the deck. As they do pick up one, it's going to go untraded for the time being as well. You can see Six is rotating into Z, has the crossfire set up with XMS here to try and shut down this potential mid play. The bomb making its way back through A main. And it does look like Engine's going to look to join up with Major here when this push does come on in. There's only 22 seconds left though.
Happy has to hit his shots. If he can deny the first one here, this could be great, and he does. Major goes down. Now surely there's no time. Well, Paz gets a kill splitting in through middle. Engine has to step up as well, and he does. Takes down Happy, and although Sixer will use the AWP to get rid of Paz, Engine's now in a great spot. The bomb's down. He's got a smoke to allow him to cross back to main, or at least fake it as they start to push in. I don't think they know where he is. Running around the corner, Sixer. There's the first, looking for more, but RPK trades. Finally going to jump into this one. And EnVyUs, they will pick up their 4th round, but very, very close. It is going to be Space Soldiers getting their bomb plant though, so they get the money. They have a little bit more to work with in the upcoming round. They will be able to go for that buy still. But even so, that's really unfortunate. They didn't manage to take down EnVyUs while they had that fairly weak buy, while they had that double SMG, but at least they pulled it back from that initial 5v3 that we saw in.
Going to be a hard aim at the rifles, brought up once again at 4 Space Soldiers on the back of the loss bonus and the bomb plot. They can't afford to buy it once more. Making their way over towards B early on. Sixer is here with the AWP in hand, going to be forced back. Already RPKs up in vents, ready to drop in towards B and deliver death from above at a moment's notice. Pop flashes out. It's going to allow Major to make his way into the site and try and find an opener. But open to the waiting gun of Sixer, it's going to prove to be difficult. He just bides his time on the site. Paz clearing out these angles, spots out RPK and takes his head clean off. Scream to try and refrag, does pick up one, but Zentares on the lurk is quick to pull this one back. It all falls on XMS, rotating in from the A bomb site as Space Soldiers collapse in towards B. Bomb is going to go down, and XMS to try and retake 1v4 is a tall order to say the least.
I think at this point exits at a must, at a most, sorry, is what XMS can really do, and even that's going to be a tall order. Engine takes them down, and Space Soldiers are going to pick up their second round on the board. But yeah, undoable situation. XMS just trying to do damage, take some guns off of Space Soldiers. If he gets away with that, maybe he stops their economy from growing too much, but not going to be able to. We'll see the buy coming out once again from EnVy. They have a bit of cash to still commit to this. No AWP on Sixer, but we still have full rifles at least, so that's something positive for the French side. As now Space Soldiers, they've got their up on engine. Not going to connect in the body shot, but either way, EnVy going for that AAA play. We do potentially have this aggression once again. We saw this with the SMGs previously. This time, XMS not having the same effect. He goes down. Happy on the boost, going to get spotted, and Calyx, 2 quick kills. Now they can just charge A. They've got 2 picks. The issue is, they might not expect a third, that being Scream.
Yeah, Scream's here. 6 is going to be quick on the rotate up through highway as well. Major is in a great spot to try and spot this exact play out. As 6 doubles back over towards mid. Will be held back by a barrage utility, but it's Scream to rain the first shots, and he's going to get completely beheaded as Calyx takes him down. Paz able to find one more, and now it's all on RPK. 1v4 yet again. The same situation we saw XMS in the previous round now falls onto the shoulders of RPK, who looks to try and save in through mid, but Major locks it down and picks up that frag, cementing a third on the board for Space Soldiers here. Is now the economy of EnVy going to be down and out for the count as they do find themselves against the ropes. As they do just force buy down on the players that can't afford it. But for the most part, it's going to be pistols across the board.
Yeah, a bit of armor on RPK and XMS, but by and large, it's just, as you say, these pistols. Space Soldiers back in this one, not allowing EnVy to build up their cash early on, which could have been dangerous. We actually have this quad stack on A now. We're just happy peeking out through B, playing on his own as he typically does. But the rest of them just situated on this forklift and default site area. And Space Soldiers playing it very passive early on, not going to be chasing frags, not going to be looking to get aggressive early on into this round because they know what they're up against. They know EnVy are going to be playing these pistols, so as a result we're going to expect not only stacks but maybe some CT aggression. Space Soldiers reading the situation perfectly. The default will start to shift as we see Calyx attempt this aim A control, actually jumps. RPK gets spotted at least, so some information gained and a bit of damage, but nothing too much. Now we see the burst play. No flash to allow these players in, but they can just run. Wall bang, good damage, and Paz will do it as Calyx sprays down 2, Xantares finds RPK, and it's all on to Happy down through B, but our Engine's holding the angle. Misses a shot, but he has a chance to re-peek, and that'll be it. Clean anti-eco, no deaths, and Space Soldiers played that perfectly as well. So passive, so calculated.
Yeah, I mean, that was a really, really nice round from Space Soldiers. Like, when you see the push coming from EnVy, they just get met by a flurry of gunfire in A main. Paz even spraying through the garage door as well, doing a boatload of damage there. It is a quick and, most importantly, clean round for Space Soldiers to try and build up some economy on their part. And now, into this round, Major already trying to gain some ground over towards this B bomb site. 6 are going to spray in through the smoke and tags him down within inches of death. He's going to be forced to fall on back and rejoin the rest of his team. This does open up the ability for now Team EnVy to try and go a bit aggressive over towards that B bomb site, but damage rains out on Happy. Out towards A. The push on the rafters coming in from XMS to try and back him up. Scream holding down mid from Z. Now looking to try and make his way up towards Truck, potentially to help out towards this A bomb site. Just waiting over a middle for the time being, but Major's in a great spot to shut him down. XMS can be spotted out by Paz, who picks up the first. The entries in towards the A bomb site just abundant, as Happy already tagged down low as well, not looking too great, but Scream through the smoke finds a head because that's what he's good at. And now it's Calyx pushing into the site to try and pull the advantage back. Gets one, but Happy shuts him down. The trade's going back and forth. Ultimately, it's RPK up through highway to turn the tide of battle. Picking up one, gets the second as well. And EnVyUs will be securing themselves a 5th as they return once more to the lead.
Still very back and forth here. 3 in a row for Space Soldiers means that they can now reset EnVyUs' economy, get their buy up, shut these CTs down. And they'll only just have a buy put together. 2 UMPs will be in play once again, but I mean, we've seen them have success with these kind of buys before with that A main aggression that we talked about earlier on in the map, so there's always potential. As XMS and Sixer are going to be on those SMGs, respectively on opposite sides of the map, and Scream very close up in mid, pushed all the way up towards the garage. With no support as well, this is a very dangerous position, but even more dangerous is Zantares picking up the first one to 6 and running into B and trying to chase for more, but RPK trades, the AK giving him that one-shot potential as he moves back towards the site. Major will be rounding the corner in through checkers, and as the rotation comes in replacement of 6's presence, Space Soldiers still have far from committed to B despite Major's positioning. They've still got all these players outside of middle, but RPK actually drops Major, so this may make them rethink about their position coming into this round.
Yeah, I mean, you can see this has forced their hand now to rotate back and turn their attention instead of towards mid. That Molotov perfect to force Scream out. The advantage they needed to try and equalize this back out as they do find Scream over in mid. And this leaves mid completely open. Happy's near enough by to try and watch it. But instead he's going to make the decision to join up with XMS over towards this A-bomb site. Boosting up Calyx over in mid. As Engine and Paz try and split between Squeaky and Main. Happy watching from Z. Gonna make the decision to rotate back over here towards B, expecting a fake to come through, but as XMS here's the couple of steps coming his way, pushes into remain. That's gonna be bomb drop. There's only 25 seconds left. They have to work quickly here on the side of Space Soldiers. Coming up through mid is gonna be Calyx. Now Happy should expect someone to be in middle. Here's RPK on the rotate, picks off the first.
What?
Happy's looking completely the wrong way, but there's only 14 seconds left, and XMS locking down the bomb. It's all eyes on him as Calyx comes in to try and pick it up. Calyx running on through, doesn't get the bomb, and he thinks he does. He has to go for the frag. There's no time left, and it will be Envy to pick themselves up a 6th. But they were extremely lucky that Calyx there just didn't quite get to the bomb in time.
What a weird round as well, considering Happy sitting on the A site. His teammate RPK comes into the connector and gets killed on the rotation. Happy just doesn't even react. He doesn't even look towards highway. Still so tunnel visioned and focused in through A main. And that completely throws the round away. Gives it, well, not away. It almost could have thrown the round away. As you say, obviously it comes down to Calyx not being able to pick up that bomb, but very, very close for EnVyUs. Now, Space Soldiers, well, they're still able to buy. Oh, look at that damage in middle. Scream down to 24. Team EnVyUs limited in terms of utility and in the kit department as well. Only 6 are on his. He's got an AWP as well. Set over towards the B side of the map. The Space Soldiers seem to be heading more so towards A once again. Pressure over in main. They have that squeaky control that is Paz. And the other two players holding that default, waiting for the aggression from EnVyUs to see if there's anything deciding to push on up here from the CT side. While Space Soldiers, they look for a pick through A.
Zantares with the first, and Happy once again just offers himself up towards Zantares. It's going to go down. XMS on the boost can only spot heads from this position, but it's very effective at doing the damage to try and pull this back into a 4-on-4. He has to buy time for the rotate, and Envy, they're very slow on that rotate, only just making their way in now. XMS going to go down, and this A site comes crumbling down around them. Already it's looking like the save has been called, as a 3v5 retake with such a weak economy just doesn't seem worth it. And they will try and keep these weapons up. Scream's only on 24 HP and has actually exited very far away right into the danger zone as Major's here. I could potentially hear him out now. There was a lot that went wrong there for EnVyUs. The rotate as well took so long to come in from that B bomb, so XMS tried to buy time but he couldn't get any work done. But I mean, if you actually looked at it, they had a good indication that the push was coming through. I mean, they lost Happy almost straight away and they still didn't rotate a player on in. Instead, now opting to play things safe, they can have 3 weapons saved up into the next, so they can go for the force buy. But it will mean Space Soldiers find a 5th and keep 5 players alive yet again.
Yeah, the thing is about that is while Envy didn't get exactly hard reset, they won 2 rounds in the middle. They lost 4 players in that previous round and only kept 1 alive, so that means obviously the rebuy is going to be so weak here. Loss bonus is up to only 1400. But no saved weapons, it's 2 pistols. 1 on XMS, 1 on Happy, the 2 players who went down in the previous round. This is a good opportunity for Space Soldiers once again, but the AWP is going to be the wild card thrown into the mix. We actually have a bit of a burst play down through B, but the interesting thing about this is we have 2 players outside of A with a bomb. Typically, bomb is going to go with the majority of players, so this is quite a switch up in traditional CS, but let's see if EnVyUs read it well. Major running into B, there's the first entry, gets traded by RPK, but he has no teammates to back him up. They don't even commit. It actually draws full rotation from EnVyUs. They don't have anyone on that A site now, and it just allows Space Soldiers to walk out, and unbeknownst to EnVyUs, it's a completely free site. Bomb will be going down, and now they finally realise the error of their ways.
XMS executed over in mid as he will go down, and trying to save the AWP. The armor on Happy and the AK up on RPK once again. I imagine we're going to see Happy go ahead and pick up that M4 within the B-bomb site. We'll be able to locate that, so it will be another save coming on in, and they can afford to get a decent buy together in the next round, providing they don't lose anyone here. And Happy is going to find himself in a spot of bother any minute now, as very, very quickly encroaching on his position. It's going to be the might of two terrifying riflemen. Paz going to go down, and actually Engine falls as well. Calyx does at least find Happy. They've done a lot of damage, though, to Space Soldiers. Ultimately, it's going to bode a hell of a lot worse for Envy, who needed to have 3 players survive, really, if they wanted to go for a buy in this round.
They're still going to have to go for it just due to how it's going, right? But it's not going to be great. Actually, I say that. Scream's only buying up a Deagle, so maybe they're just going to go for a light pistol buy around it. Realistically, I would have expected to see a buy from EnVyUs, but playing it far safer, it seems. Happy with a 5.7. We have armor pistol on the other 2 players that went down. And obviously the saved weaponry. They will be able to buy up fully next round, though. That's one of the few positives. Lots and lots of money for these guys. But Space Soldiers just bursting the A side, trying to switch up the pace a little bit, not holding back as Paz and Zantaro's open things up. Happy alone already on A, and he's gone down with only 1 kill to his name. Good damage so far from Space Soldiers. The round looks heavily in their favour, and a 4v2 with the rotations coming in. EnVyUs can only really do damage at this point. Sixer will do that as he takes down Calyx. Unless they find another quick pick, it's unlikely they'll even commit to this retake. The thing is, RPK can afford to go down here just because they'll be rebuying anyway.
Oh, but Sixer definitely couldn't. It's going to fall to Major. And now that means RPK forced in a position where he has to save. I think he would like to try and get the AWP, but it's so far pushed up highway, he doesn't stand a chance. Going to wait for that bomb to explode, see if he can get it there, but it looks like Paz going to go ahead and steal that from him. Takes the peek on out and does find Paz at least. He's making it costly once again. But now the push coming in from Engine down through highway. RPK desperately trying to cling onto this AK if he can. It looks like he will better get away from it as they do stop hunting. Envy with the buy in this round have got more than enough money. RPK still sitting on $4,000 as the round ticks over. I'll make that 3,600. Still in to buy a Molotov, because, you know, why not? He's going to have a little bit, but disproportionately so to the rest of the team, who are skinned with $300 between them. And well, now
and 2 AWPs. That's a real switch up from EnVyUs. Both Happy and Six are going to be picking that up. So this could really be a bit of a takedown if Space Soldiers play a slow round. If they went for that fast burst play again like they did in the previous one, EnVyUs would be really stuck because AWPs aren't great for retaking. If you get overwhelmed by 3 or 4 players on a site, you're typically only going to pick up 1 unless you get a crazy, round off. So realistically, Space Soldiers now playing slowly, this could bode well for EnVyUs in the sense that they have these long range rifles, and now they're going to just be holding the angles, waiting for the push to come through. We have 1 on B, 1 on middle. Space Soldiers yet to establish anything too heavy. More so just his default again outside of A, but with no pressure on B or middle, allows for some aggression.
Ream tagged down as Zantares, but Zantares going to have his face impaled by Scream. Already that man advantage taken. Boost up on top of the box is going to be proven to be strong for someone like Scream. It really only allows you to see the head, and lucky enough for Scream, that's his favourite part of the body. Now the push comes on out. XMS going to flash himself back. Happy will fall to Engine in mid, but this push out towards A going to be getting decimated for the time being. The peak comes in, but it's Scream to take another head clean off, as now he's on 2. It all falls on a Major, and Scream at the end to get the hat-trick, cements that 7th round and secures the 7-7 scoreline for EnVyUs. He's been pivotal in locking down these sites, and now we're going to see them with the opportunity to try and win out this first half by picking up an 8th. Both teams are going to buy down. The buy for Space Soldiers is going to be better than that of EnVyUs. You can see Happy's relegated down to the UMP. Everyone on Space Soldiers having everything they would need in terms of weaponry. Utilities looking a little bit bare. Engine and Zantares both a singular smoke, but it's more than enough for them to execute out onto one of these sites. It just leaves them a little bit high and dry in the afterplan.
This matchup a whole lot more equal than I assumed, though. I thought Space Soldiers could surprise us, and I'm glad they did. I hope to see them do well here, but again, this is probably the toughest, or one of the toughest opponents in the qualifier. Already met up in the quarters, so early on. As we see, Space Soldiers doing their very best to pick up their 8th round. They're going to be setting up 1 player towards B, the rest of them defaulting, and then a bomb still yet to be picked up. They're yet to commit towards anywhere, but again, Major's always been putting this pressure on B the whole half. However, this time it won't work out. Sixer takes him down We will be seeing Space Soldiers to attempt to split towards middle, now with a man disadvantage. The smoke's out in Z, it's allowed some free passes into most of middle, only got to worry about vents, sandbags and highway, and only one of those spots is taken. That's just Scream there, but definitely a decent opponent to be up against. As Scream looks for this kill onto Xantares. The two aimers of their own team, respectively. Scream will win the fight with the flashbang, and Calyx as well spotted. Scream tapping away for more, but he does get traded. Maybe a bit overzealous in that engagement as Space Soldiers pull back a kill, but with 30 seconds left, they surely have no time to take the A site. Paz gets an entry, but he'll go down to Happy, who's already on a 2k so far, and now Calyx is left alone in a 1v3.
Has to watch out because RPK is rotating right over towards highway, and he does win out the duel, ripping through the skull of Calyx. Secures an 8th for Envy as they head into the T side, so they will be having that 1 round advantage. Pistol round going to be good to put one of these teams that a little bit further ahead. But it seems a little bit cliche at this point to say pistol rounds are important. Everyone knows that. You know, it's every round's important, but the pistol round especially so, as it can give you that early 2 or 3 round advantage over the other team, which for Envy could mean a potential 11-7 scoreline. The Space Soldiers likewise a 9-8 or a 10-8, depending on if that bomb does go down. Now,
Yeah,
based on what we've seen so far, based on what we've seen so
ahead.
far, I was going to say, you know, coming into this, you said you think Envy could have 2-0. Do you think Space Soldiers are going above and beyond your expectations, or do you think this is kind of what you expected from them?
I really don't know what my expectations were coming into this because of the nature of Space Soldiers being a great team but never really getting much of a chance to play up against teams of this stature. The majority of the time they're just bashing on teams you know, a tier below or their tier, but Envy is definitely a level above in terms of like players and notable achievements. So I don't know what I expected, to be honest. I expected Space Soldiers to put up somewhat of a fight, and I'm glad to see they are doing so, but I don't know about them taking the series away. That being said, if we go to 3 maps, there's always that chance, and that chance is very, very good for Space Soldiers. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We're still on cash. We're still on the first one, the pick of the Turkish. As we head into this second pistol round here, Space Soldiers now over on the CT side. We have EnVyUs going for the classic mid-split up through A. They're going to be boosting a lot of players up early on, it seems, and they'll just be jumping in through to try and make their way in towards that A site. But actually just going to send all the players down towards main. They actually drop off the boost and just completely try and go for a very default split. A, main and Squeaky is going to be the only places they come from. His engine goes down straight away. Paz will look for the trade and he succeeds, but Screamy's still there chasing this kill. Paz jumping around, going to finally fall down to the ground as Major is going to be rotating on in. Sorry, actually sat over to the forklift while Calyx rotates on in. Xantares in the meantime, he's done the damage, but they haven't realised that EnVyUs are completely backed off of this A site. They'll just be running onto the empty B site after that rotation from Calyx. Bomb going down and EnVyUs in a great spot 3v3.
Now XMS can be waiting out on the back of the site now, peeking as Calyx reveals himself in from CT. Xantares is going to be late, making his way in through vent, find himself 1v3, gets 1 against 2. Xantares, what are you doing? Something turns this all around. The peek comes out from XMS, who does shut him down. But Xantares, he is no man. He is something altogether inhuman. As he goes ahead and gets the 3k, nearly pulls that round back from the brink of defeat with some insane flick shots on the back.
So excited to drop your mic.
Yeah, so excited. I actually punched it in excitement. That was unbelievable.
Now EnVyUs smokes out into mid, lots of fake smokes as well. They're going to be bursting B. This actually draws a lot of players of Space Soldiers away from this side of the map. Only Major is here as they run on in. RPK finds the first. Major's down, and now they can just use their utility to smoke off the rest of the site. Force Space Soldiers out, but apparently RPK wants more. He's chasing. Xantares trades with the Deagle, but that's the only kill so far for the Space Soldiers side. EnVyUs are doing so much damage to these CTs, and now it just leaves 2 as the bomb goes down. This round is over.
Yeah, Paz and Xantares looking to try and save, but no, Happy not going to let Xantares get away with that courtesy. Now it's all on Paz 1v4 with the D, looking to try and hold on to it into the next round, and he will be allowed to do so. Going to give them a little something to work around with. It will be Envy to find a 10th as they approach double digits. I mean, those shots from Xantares, you know, if he can continue that form heading into the you know, last stages of this game, we could definitely see Space Soldiers being an even bigger threat than what they are right now. And I mean, you know, Calix is stepping up in a big way. I would always argue that Zantares was kind of heralded as the king, and then Calix is the fresh prince. You know, someone who's very much showing up in big ways as well and deserves to be recognized for that. Paz is usually, I would say, the most consistent player on Space Soldiers, one that you can normally look to try and pull them through, and he's been having a good performance as well. So certainly the players that you'd need to be turning up for Space Soldiers are on the board. This time though, it's Happy boosted up to peek out through mid with that UMP. Calix looking like he wants to try push on through, and Happy's going to get tagged down to a measly 16 HP. Now the push coming out towards this A bomb site. Mage is going to be here with the USP as everyone rotates up through highway. These pistols just trying to rain death in through the smoke, but it's Mage up close to find the first.
Yeah, it should just be a done deal here for EnVyUs. They have so many UMPs. These are great for shredding the armorless players. Antares can have all the aim he wants, but that gun is not powerful enough. Calix as well, going down in main on that flank, and now only 2 remain. Paz could get something done with this Deagle, potentially. We do have a couple of low players, but EnVyUs aren't going to make these kind of mistakes. They aren't going to overface when they're low. Just holding off, leaving the job down to Sixer and the likes of it. But as I say, that's Antares and Paz both pick up a kill. Now this one looks doable here, screaming through the smoke. Paz is spamming away. Happy still playing close as well, but he's only going to be able to surprise Paz, not checking the corner. He gets the first. Still, Zantares is above him and he drops on down, but Scream is there to save the day. And EnVyUs, they are going to pick it up, albeit very close. Space Soldiers with little to no investment actually get themselves 4 kills, but even so, they are going to be going for the buy up now, and this is a good opportunity for Space Soldiers. Not only do they have the buy, but Team EnVyUs have lost a lot of their economy just due to that previous round. If you look at their cash now on the right side, they don't have a lot to fall back on if they lose it. So Space Soldiers, a perfect opportunity to get themselves on the CT board and then to force EnVyUs into a near eco. So, you know, this is the best odd they had to come back into the game, and they've got to show up now.
Boosting Major up to watch mid, but it's Engine to find the first 2. Happy does return with 2 of his own. Calix going to go aggressive, meanwhile over towards B, and it's going to be tagged down extremely low. But it all falls on a Happy and Sixer. Bomb dropped out in mids, and Tara's going to be watching the angle, and he's a different threat they have to try and contend with all in itself. Molotov down into the open. This should allow Sixer to find an opening, as he does turn it into a 2-on-2. Now Calix has gone aggressive over towards B. Paz going to be rotating around into middle. Is going to be here alone. So will go untraded if he goes down, leaving it all on the 8 HP Calix. Paz extending out in mid, going to be spotted, but it does pay off as Sixer hits the deck. Now it's all on Happy, 13 HP, and the bomb's still down and out in mid. Calix going aggressive. Ruby pushing on up, clearing out mid, and this has allowed Paz to rotate back over towards A. They're narrowing down where Happy could be, and actually Paz going to spot him rotating around through forklift. It does find the shot, and he will go down. Space Soldiers pick up their first rifle round on the CT side.
With no bomb plant, EnVyUs now only have 1 more buy to go for. RPK going to be needed to be dropped, and the rest of them will have enough to work with. Maybe he's only on a pistol here. No, he's got a rifle. They dropped it over. Scream had a little bit more cash to play with. And now EnVyUs, yeah, last buy coming out here. Space Soldiers, great chance to get into this map once again. It's still very close, but I feel like EnVyUs are only going to need 2 or 3 rifle rounds to close out this entire game, and that's definitely within reach. So we do need to see this CT side get themselves on the board sooner rather than later. Nade damage out mid, good damage as well. XMS is tagged, and Calix and Zantares both going to be opening things up. But again, the over-aggression from Space Soldiers, this is something we're very expecting to see. It's a team that constantly bashes on teams a tier lower than them. So they're very, very aggressive. They like to take the Angels, and that does work in the CS that they usually play. But when you go up against top-tier opponents that are going to punish you for your kind of mistakes, this is exactly what we're going to see. Space Soldiers throwing away a bit of a man advantage. They do pull it back into a 3-on-2, but still, it's getting closer than it should have been in this round.
Sticks around towards the A-bomb side, just going to do the job of decapitating Paz, turns it back to a 2-on-2, and suddenly what was looking like a Space Soldiers round has been called into question. RPK and Six are still alive and kicking, trying to clutch this one out. The crossfire set up between Zantares and Engine over in mid. And RPK has the crossfire set up with Sixer. Bomb is down and out in the open. They should be able to find both the frags. Even if they don't get that bomb, there's only 30 seconds left to play around when he spots out his teammate, now trying to peek out through mid. Zantares watching the angle. Six is going to go down, and RPK falls on the peak. The crossfires were perfect. And I think Space Soldiers played that round out perfectly.
Yeah.
They take the aggression early on in mid, punish Envy for that, and then the only player who does go down was in over towards that B bomb site. And that was to RPK on his initial push in. That was him trying to hold passive, but just couldn't connect the shots. And now it's going to be EnVy on 11. Space Soldiers closing the gap as they reach 9, buying down SMGs to try and make some money in this round.
I mean, yeah, don't get me wrong. They played that end part of the round perfectly, but the beginning part, a little bit shaky. Some errors were made. However, this is going to be the pistol rush. This is dangerous here. They allow them to get so close, and XMS takes advantage. 2 headshots of the PT-50. You can't afford to double stack sight like that in such close positions. Engine going to at least pull one back here for the CT side, and they should have this one, assuming they play this one together. No need to push in before the bomb goes down. If you can stop the plant, that's one thing, but other than that, they should be playing together, playing fairly safe. Santaros takes down RPK, and this is their round to win now. This is their round just to go in as a team, post-plant if they can. The issue is EnVyUs have no smokes, and that CT's being held. The cross will not be allowed by Engine there, who's just sitting waiting for it. So it's a very dangerous one for EnVy. They're waiting for Space Soldiers to over-aggress, and hopefully they won't. They do actually manage to cross. Engine not hitting the shot onto XMS, but as soon as they hit the plant, they can potentially just push in, knowing that one player will not have a gun in their hand. XMS is mollied out. Happy finds one with a pistol, but they don't. Engine doesn't even know where he is. Paz does do it, but a bit confusing there in communication. Space Soldiers pick up the round, 10-11, and they're back in this one.
I don't know if you got it, but that one tap with the PT-50 from Happy was masterful.
Oh,
just fires one bullet. He knows he's got the shot. That's all it takes. And yeah, but no, Space Soldier will be picking up the round 10-11, as you said. This scoreline getting ever closer. EnVy will have enough money to be buying down AKs across the board, armor, everything they could need, full belts of utility up behind them, and Space Soldier is the one who are a little bit limited in this buy. Engine on the UMP Major as well. 2 players on these SMGs. Going to be Molotoving mid early on to try and hold back. And actually some aggression going to come out from Engine, who pushes up close in mid. Has Santaros here to trade things out, but it doesn't matter because Paz going to get executed in towards this A-bomb site. Does force the rotate of Santaros up from highway. Engine now has to fall back out of middle as well. Look how this has affected Space Soldiers' positioning. They've had to react to this. Zentares trying to equalize things out. Going to get pop flashed in through main. Here's the door open. Turns his attention to RPK. Zentares, what are you doing? Somehow turns his situation on its head and gets the advantage back in favor of Space Soldiers.
This is such a good round for them. There's no need to overface. Engine needs to realize that. Sat on the A site with only a UMP. The range game is not going to favour him in that position. Just play close where his gun is more applicable. And leave the job to Santaros, who's just holding the cross from under heaven. The issue is they might expect this position. He's been shooting around this position most of the round already. But I think Space Soldiers may have cottoned on to what's happening here as Major starts his rotation in through the CT spawn, coming up towards that A side of the map. Still, Engine and Santaros, the only 2 players left actually on the A site, and this split coming out from Happy is instrumental in how they can take this round. If he can take down Major, they're going to allow themselves to just push out very fast, but Santaros flashed out, he's blind. Happy does get the kill onto Major in middle as well, and Engine running out of ammo and health as XMS takes him down, leaving just Calyx to come back in. That was a great round from EnVyUs, very heavily reliant on that mid pick, but still they make it work, and now it's going to be Calyx left to retake.
Alex in the 1v2 trying to come on in both players over here at Quad. He does have both a nade and a Molotov to flush them out. XMS going to go down now. Things get toasty for Sixer, who stands in the fire for a little too long before Calyx finishes him off. Both players grouped up on top of each other on solo HP, just at the full mercy of Calyx's utility. They're going to go down, and Space Soldiers, they find the equalizer. It was a 1v2 and Calyx clutches it out to take it to an 11-11 scoreline.
The thing is that usually you wouldn't double stack quad, but they were expecting that late into the round no one would have utility left. The issue is none of them probed B early on in the round, so Calyx kept all of his utility on that B site, not having to use any of it. So as soon as he wraps back round into that A side of the map on the retake, he's got all of his full set of Molotovs and HEs. Typically, no one would have that so late in the round. So EnVyUs, if anything, they didn't read it too wrong, but they didn't expect Calyx to have that much utility left on him. Very unfortunate now. We will be seeing an equal scoreline, and EnVyUs do not want to be letting this one slip away from them either. They should be the team to win this series, but clearly the only slight underdogs are making a mockery of them as we get to 11-11. Calyx starting his rotation. The rest of Space Soldiers have realised this isn't a take. They're playing for retake already. They've allowed them to get control of the A-bomb site. Damage has been done, and Paz, dirty shot onto Scream, just going to tap him out from car. And this is a good position for Space Soldiers. They've got a retake scenario, which is slightly negative, but they've got double man advantage with Calyx dropping Happy in middle.
Yeah, the boost from RPK to try and hold this back as he does do damage downrange. XMS going to be able to find a third. The retake coming on through. Bomb's still ticking away though. Pop flash going to come out. It allows Paz and Calix to entry towards the site. The boost coming on in, but not for Calix as he takes out 2 more. It's all on 6 at 1v3 to try and lock this down. Fake flashing out around the corner. Playing this, allowing the bomb time to tick down. Picks off Major. It's all on Calix. Peeking into the site. 6 is going to get it. He gets himself 3 and locks down the round in a 1 versus 3 to win it out for EnVyUs. They go ahead and pick up their first rifle round in 4 rounds consecutively. Space Soldiers, their economy is going to be broken heading into this. They will be forced buying down, which means that if they lose this in the next, they're going to have to eco, which could allow Envy to try and make it to map point.
That is crazy. A round Space Soldiers never should have thrown away in the first place to allow Tixer to clutch, get 5v3 down to 1v3 down to a throw, So unfortunate for Space Soldiers, pushing in 1 by 1. Now we're going to see the real issue, which is EnVyUs' economy is so much better. Infinitely better. As we see, they're setting up towards A again. Classic EnVyUs. Calix and Engine are opening things up. What is happening here? The pistols reign supreme. Engine and Paz all picking up kills as 2 remain for EnVyUs. There's no need to face here from the CT side, as these T's are very, very close. XMS is going to take down Engine now, and we are seeing Space Soldiers start to throw away around. They can't afford to lose any more players. The double flank coming in. It's all onto Paz to try and delay these guys so he can allow for his teammates to rotate in and do the damage from behind, but you can see they are fully aware of the potential. 6 is going to molly into the squeaky door, forcing him back. And this is going to be a retake setup now for Space Soldiers.
Yeah, they've got to watch out. Hot on their heels, these 2 players that were coming in on that flank. Now going to pounce as Major does find the first. It's all going to fall on 6, so 1v3 yet once again. Can he clutch it out? No, he can't. We'll go down as Paz finishes him off. And that's going to pull Space Soldiers back to a 12-12 scoreline. And this time, it's going to be Envy at the brunt of the economic reset. They do find themselves with the bomb plant. A couple of these players are going to be close to able to buy, but for the most part, it looks like they will just be investing down to about $2,300 into this round to try and make something happen and then buying up in the next.
This is still very close. Neither team really taking it clearly, but this eco, of course, allowing Space Soldiers to potentially get themselves another round. However, I don't want to jinx it because EnVyUs have been pretty phenomenal in pulling back rounds they really shouldn't have won anyway in the first place. But a bit of aggression. Major going to push into main. It's fully clear. He doesn't spot anyone here from EnVyUs. So that may give some misinformation that these players are out towards B, especially with that pick coming from RPK. That may draw a rotation down towards the B site, which would be completely misguided because EnVyUs is still fairly stacked outside of A. That being said, after that pick, they're going to go themselves in through mid. And RPK still got to regain his B control, leaving just Calix alone. And actually, Space Soldiers, they've double bluffed. They've kept themselves all towards A, leaving Calix with the Bane with the push coming in. He gets himself a trade, and that's onto RPK there, but still there's so many players. He can't make it out here alive. Not safely, at least. The Scream will take him down. And now, despite them having no armor, they've got themselves a rifle, they got the man advantage, and the B site's completely open for these T's to get control.
Yeah, Zintara is just going to storm on in, wasting no time. Does do some damage on a Scream, but the bomb still hasn't actually been allowed to cross. 6 is waiting on the other side of CT. Going to be thrown across by Scream, but he gets spotted throwing it. Not going to be able to take up basketball anytime soon. 6 will be able to get the bomb plant at least. As now Zintara's Paz and Major to try and retake this site. XMS holding the cross in from CT under heaven. Nixer on the site with the rifle. Now going to find himself 1v3. Make that 1v2. Paz gets tagged down low, but he does pick the frag up. The defuse going to come in. Space Soldiers take the lead, but around that Envy didn't invest much in. Yields some fantastic results.
It's what I talk about when I say EnVyUs have pulled back rounds that they really shouldn't have won in the first place. So you can't count them out even on these full ecos. Either way, 13 rounds to 12. Very, very close. The first map here of this best of 3 quarter-final matchup. And EnVyUs are back in with a buy. 6 are on that AWP. The rest of them going to be on those AKs as well. So no limiting here for EnVyUs. They've got the full buy ahead. And Space Soldiers not focusing on the AWP at all. We've got to take into account Despair isn't here. So that's a bit of a limiting factor. But sticking with the rifles now. As EnVyUs, they set up outside of B once again. More so a default, but a lot of pressure in towards B early on. RPK going to chase for kills, but Calix is there, spraying through the smoke to get that, pick up that frag, and actually straight up boosting into vents instantly, allowing this double mid setup now between Xantares and Calix. The 2 hard hitters for Space Soldiers seem to be set up perfectly for this, and EnVyUs, they don't know what to do.
And the pop flash could have come in from Paz out through A main, just to keep Envy at bay. Look at how much they've been relegated back into the almost kind of T-spawn garage area. They don't have any of these angles cleared. They lost RPK so early on, and now they have to be so cautious. They know there's a player in A main.
Oh.
And they do manage to find him instantly. But the rotate already be coming on in. Calyx being boosted up in vent does mean that he can be the first man on the scene on that flank, and Zentara's already rotating around. A lot of pressure on Major to try and hold this back, but he doesn't get any work done. Instead, it's going to fall on Zentara's, and they line up for him. Going to get himself 2. Looking for a 3rd. He's going to get it, and the 4th as well, maybe, but no, 6 does shut him down. Going to be able to pick up the bomb and trying to clutch this out 1v2. Calyx on the flank. Engine up on high with there's 30 seconds left, and 6 is going to just completely and utterly bypass the A bomb site. Now sneaking down over towards Truck. Engine must have spotted him. He hears the scope go in. 6 misses the first shot. Has shots raining in through A main as well. Now looking to try and beat these guys to that B bomb site. There's 15 seconds left. He's going to have time to make his way in. Engine, the first man on the scene, does hear him drop. And he's going to try and play reactively. Not going to wait for Calyx. Instead trying to catch up 6. Oh my god, that B hop might have just saved this man's life. Movement like a god to get him in towards CT. Tagged down very low. 2 HP left on him. To try and clutch this out. Bomb timer ticking on down. 6 spots out the first, but he misses the shot with the AWP. Pump flash comes out, but the bomb timer is still ticking away. These 2 players on the clock. Spots the first out in CT. It's going to be Calyx who goes down. Now it's all on Engine. 1v1. Fake flash comes out. That was terrible. Engine with the peek. He gets tagged, but he does manage to take him down.
Does he have time?
That would have been phenomenal.
Oh, wait, what? He might not have time. No, he does. Oh, my heart. What a round. The thing is, Sixer almost completely outplayed himself by going for that open plant. If he went for the safe plant, he may not have got tagged in the first place, meaning he may have even got that second kill, you know, just hypothetically. But even so, how close can you get? Space Soldiers are going to pick it up, but they only keep 1 player, meaning their economy is going to be impacted as a result. Major's on a UMP. The rest of them still pretty good on weaponry and utility, and more kits as well, which, as we can tell from the last round, very important. As EnVyUs, they are going to be left now to Galils and AKs. A last-ditch attempt here. No utility. Just charging out towards A. Paz already taking down Sixer. Playing individually now, it seems. EnVyUs are going to be losing out on the first man. Scream tagged up as well. And nothing going well for EnVyUs right now. Looking like Space Soldiers may even be able to take away this first map. XMS. He's the only man standing on the A site apart from Scream. And he's going to be mollied out, leaving just Scream alone. This should just be it. Space Soldiers are surely going to be at 15 rounds.
Scream 1v4 does hear Major on the flank, turns into a 1v3 as he annihilates it on the push around the corner. There's still a minute left for Scream to play around with, and as he turns his attention over toward this B bomb site, only Calyx lays in wait. Paz has gone aggressive up through Squeaky, and they hear Scream pushing on in. The rotate's already coming through, and Scream's going to get tagged down to 11 HP. Paz hot on their heels on the flank. The rotate already coming in from Engine up towards Heaven. And as Scream looks to double back, he might run into Paz here, and he doesn't expect it. Knife out, bomb going to get dropped, and that'll be Space Soldiers to arrive at map point. 15 to 12. 1 round between them and winning out this first map.
And that's the thing, going into Train as a map pick of EnVyUs, while it is a great map, Train, while it is a great map for them, it's not a bad map for Space Soldiers at all. It's not really, it's a fine map. It's a pretty good map, if anything. So, if Space Soldiers do manage to close this out here, we could be potentially seeing a win for them. Who really knows? It could go either way, but they performed very well so far on their first map. And this is a map that, obviously, the old EnVyUs lineup were known to be very good. Now, mostly G2, but, you know, players like Happy, like RBK, have had experience in all these French rosters, and the French teams do seem to love their cash, but maybe not so much anymore. Paz and Zantaro's mowing them down on the A site. It's Scream and Happy to pull things back for the team. Scream alone, the bomb dropped, and now it's all onto Happy, alone at the back of Quad, just inspecting his knife. And Space Soldiers going to be hounding in on his position shortly. He's completely screwed at the back of this position. There's no way he can get out of here, and eventually they'll just work it out. 5 players to deal with. He takes the first. He's got himself a rifle, but Engine will wallbang him with the AWP. It's EnVyUs